So what do you do when you buy real estate that includes a business? Hey everybody, welcome to Real Estate Revenue. I'm your host, Paul Airy, and in this episode, we're going to talk about buying real estate that includes a business. So how do you go about doing that? What's the best way to do that? Well, there are so many different ways to go about buying a property like that. Now I'm talking about not properties like RV parks and hotels, but I'm talking about more like traditional businesses. You might have a property with a convenience store or a coin-operated laundry or a car wash or just some kind of retail store or restaurant. So if I were buying a business like that or buying real estate like that, here's what I would do. I would try to get the deal structured. Actually, I would do more than try. I wouldn't do it if I couldn't do it this way. I would separate the two. If I were buying a property that included a business, I would do it this way. Now, this is my opinion. You can do it. There are a ton of different ways to do this, but if I did it, this is how I would have it structured. I would separate the two. You're buying two things here. You're buying real estate and you're buying a business. I would not have the two tied together. I would have them separate. I would have the deal structured so that you're buying the real estate under one company name and you're buying the business under another company name. So company A buys the real estate, company B buys the business. Two different corporate entities. I would have the business owner company lease the property from the property owner company. So why would I do that? Well, for one thing, if you decide one day that you don't want to run this business anymore, it's easier to sell one or the other. You can sell the business without selling the real estate. It would be a lot easier to do that if they were under separate company ownership. So you can sell off your business, keep the property, keep the real estate, and lease it to the new business owner. It's kind of like a sale leaseback agreement done in reverse. A lot of times a company will be operating their business and own the real estate, and they'll want to sell that real estate and lease it back from the buyer. So this is kind of like doing that in reverse. You own both, but you want to sell the business and then lease the building to the new business owner. It's a little bit different, but it's very similar, but it's a little slightly different than that. So also there's some legal protection. If the business is in the same company ownership as the property, somebody sues your business for some reason, then you've got the issue of, is your real estate at risk in this lawsuit? So now this is something you need to ask an attorney about, but of a lot of the clients that I have dealt with over the years, a lot of them big oil companies, oil field service companies, energy companies, a lot of them do that. If they own their property, they don't own it in the same business name as their business. They own it in a different company name that have a separate company that owns their real estate, and then they lease it back to their business. And there are also probably some tax differences there. You're again, ask a CPA, but your business can deduct the rent while your property owning company will get the real estate deductions on the real estate. That's something you can set up with a CPA, but if I were doing this, I would do that way, mostly for those reasons. Now, while you're doing this, you want to finance separately. Number two, you want to finance separately. It's easier to sell the business and keep the real estate if all the financing is done as two separate entities, two separate properties, and two loans. That way you won't have to go through all the complicated process with your lender of trying to separate out the property, separate the loan on the business from the loan on the real estate. You just have it that way from day one. And number three, if the business fails for some reason, then you still have the real estate. You still have the real estate that you can lease out to another tenant, and you can keep it as a rental, or you can sell it after that. But if they're tied together, if for some reason your business goes into bankruptcy, goes out of business for some reason, that real estate is not tied to it. So you have a lot of options there to do whatever you want with that real estate. So all of this makes it a lot easier for an exit plan. It gives you a lot more options to exit this purchase. If you decide you want to exit this and you want to, let's say you want to keep the property, you can sell the business. Then you have a tenant. The buyer of the business is going to be your tenant. Then the value of your real estate is going to be based on the income that it generates. So it could possibly make your real estate more valuable. So then you could, if you wanted to sell both, then you could sell the real estate to another buyer for more money than you would have gotten if you sold it as a combination. So that just gives you a lot more options for an exit. If you want to get out of the business, get out of the real estate, or keep one or the other, you could also sell the real estate and keep the business and get your cash out of the real estate and become a tenant. It wouldn't be my favorite choice, but some people do that. A lot of companies do that. So those are some options for you if you run across such a deal. And it's really strange. I was going through this today, working at my outline for this. And as I did it, somebody sent me a text. It was a broker who had a convenience store listed in East Texas, and it was exactly the kind of deal I'm talking about. It was real estate and the business, and there was owner financing involved, and it was amazing. It was just random. I'd never even heard from this guy before. It was the first time he'd ever texted me with anything. I don't even know who he is. He's a broker in Dallas somewhere. And so it was interesting timing, but that was exactly the kind of deal. And I'm going to make another video off of just that text message because there's some interesting aspects to that property that when you come across a deal like that, it can be a good opportunity for you. So I'll probably make a video on that text message sometime in the next few days. It was just incredibly good timing, and it's got some really good aspects to that deal that everybody needs to look at. It's a good opportunity for somebody somewhere, and we're going to go over that. And just remember, one property can change your life. And I'll see you next time on Real Estate Revenue.